sure about that?
Okay, we are live. Welcome back, everybody. Let me make sure. I'm good and sound, guys. We're here for another episode. This is your boys here at the Truth Media Podcast. This is your boy Q Fusion and my co-host.
Double A Hep. Oh, Double A Hep, y'all. What's good? Sorry about last week, guys. I just purchased a home, so things have been a little bit up and down, and I've been very busy. But we promise to, remain stringent on getting you that hot fire every Wednesday. So again, my apologies. That's on me. But going forward, we're gonna try our best to keep it coming every week. All right.
Yes, sir. And I just got back from traveling to Colombia, so I'm definitely running low on E, but I am ready for you guys. I definitely the whole time I was out there, I couldn't wait to get to a topic so we can get some of this hot fire out to you guys. But this is I guess if we're going to enter into the topic, this is definitely not something that I think me or my co-hosts are enjoying having to speak on. But being that we are a podcast that deals with the now and what's sort of going on in the social atmosphere, I thought it would, my co-host brought up actually this topic, and I also I agreed that this is something that you must touch base on because this is part of our waking words of life. I know my co-host has children of his own, so this is something that you know it really impacts a lot of people, not just my co-host, but more so people on a broad scheme of things, right? And this is with regards to the school shooting that took place not too long ago, right in Nashville, where there was a individual who entered upon a I believe it was an elementary school and persisted to shoot three adult. Well, they killed six people, three being three 9-year-olds, and then three being the adults. One, I believe, was the principal or the person that was in charge of the school, and there was another person also that was a relative, a school teacher, right? What I wanted to do was, we're not going to get into the insatious, or the things that occurred during the course of that, because we understand that this is a sensitive topic, and the last thing we want to do is disrespect those that lost a loved one during the course of this tragedy. But we do feel it's important to have the conversation about sort of where does this take us, right? Where do we go from here with regards to gun laws, whether regards to the conversation about how do we protect our youth, right? Because I know that when me and my co-hosts were children, this was the last thing that was on our minds, right?
Yeah.
Going into school, and the first thing you got to think about is, did I piss this person off too much today, right? Or did somebody get pissed off to the point where they want to come back in here and go crazy, right? These weren't things that we had to think about. And now in 2023, this is sort of where the atmosphere is at, where you really do have to think twice about where you're going, where you're sending your kids to school, what their programs are like, centered around these different types of conversations, and sort of, what to do, right? Because it definitely is something that needs to have a conversation with regards to. So before we get into anything, Aaron, please. Oh, I'll say Aaron. Jesus Christ. Double A Half. Is there anything you would like to add on that?
No, just a quick pay my respects to the lives that were lost, and for those families that are grieving right now, because
Sure.
that's just dare I say unimaginable.
Mm.
Although it has been occurring with much more frequency
Mm-hmm.
community. It seems like it's like the in thing to do now, and I put that in quotes. But
Hmm.
for those families, and like 9 years old, 9 years old, like
Hmm.
I can't even begin to imagine. So I just want to get that out there because obviously, guys, this is the True Scope. I mean, the Truth Media podcast. So
Hmm.
whether it's this podcast or it's the Truth Scope, you're going to get the, So we're gonna give you the truth. And I know some people aren't gonna, like or agree with some of the things that we, and again, that's totally fine. The truth is what it is, and the truth does not bring people together. Quite frankly, it does separate. So
You're coming in a little low. You might need to bring your volume up.
how about now?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
All right, but yeah, that's all I have to say about that. We could get this rolling.
All right, cool. So let's get into this article. Before we even get into the article, what are your thoughts on um, the conversation? Because the article is going to take go into sort of where the mental capacity was for this individual. I found that there was mention that they were a high functioning autistic individual. And so this was I don't think that's the emotional disorder that they're referencing here, but I am curious to see what they discussed throughout the course of this article. But before we jump into that, sort of what have you been seeing with regards to the gun law conversation on your end based upon
Well,
this strategy?
as far as the gun law conversation that I've been seeing is the same old conversation that pops up every time one of these unfortunate events takes place, and it's you hear people on one side say, "Oh, we got to get rid of the guns, take away the guns," and you hear the other side say, "No, actually we need more guns. We need more guns." So
Mm-hmm.
as far as the conversation goes, it's the same old watered down conversation. The same old. I literally watched the other day. 'Cause I just bought this crib, so I'm trying to figure out the area. I went to this like little like it's not a 7-Eleven, but it's like a a community store. So it's like 7-Eleven, but it's not 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not a Krauser's either. It's like a mom and pop kind of thing. So I'm over
Okay.
there and I ordered some like a breakfast like platter. As I'm waiting for the food, they got this big ass TV on in the corner, and they had this. I guess he's a senator or maybe like a representative. I don't know what state. And he's over here
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, just going on about, oh yeah, the guns are a problem. There's senators in this room that have, they're the reason why it has happened because the way that they vote, and they're backed by the NRA, and talk about donations stuff like that, donation contributions that they get from NRA, and this guy's just going on and on, but he's literally like just like so you know politician. I'm looking at it, oh my god, like the way he's speaking, your cadence, so like you want a politician school. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to make a name
Mm.
for yourself. I get it, but it's like, come on, with the same old bullshit. And that's how you know it's bullshit because it's the same recycled shit every fucking time. You're just gonna blame the NRA and blame all this stuff. Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, you want to sit there and say, oh, the blood is on those people. Well, motherfucker, what are you doing besides just go, like anyone could walk around and start fucking just blaming people? The shooter was doing that shit. See what shit turned the fuck out. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So come on, I'm not trying to see especially no grown ass man on TV talking about blaming the NRA about some shit. Like I'm not blaming the NRA. I think anyone that's blaming the NRA is a goddamn fool. At the end of the day, you have to understand this, okay? And I know I'm going on a little bit much. I'm gonna wrap it up so you can get in. But at the end of the day, it's very simple. For the people that say, "Hey, you gotta understand something. You can outlaw guns, ban guns, whatever the fuck word you want to use, before the word guns to get rid of it. Knock yourself out, right? It's still gonna be guns.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know that? There's a thing called the black market. How do and also, like weed was illegal for mad long. Technically, it's still illegal federally, but niggas was still smoking weed and getting high and doing all that shit. Cocaine, same
Mm-hmm.
thing. You name it, whatever the fuck you want, you can get it. If you want a fucking baboon, you can get a baboon.
Hmm.
So if someone wants a gun to to commit crime with it, they're going to get the gun. So by taking guns away from people that intend to do good with a gun, only helps the person that intends to do wrong with the gun
Mm-hmm.
get off what they're doing. Like it doesn't make any sense. This whole like, yo, take away with it. Okay, so now all the people that want to do bad with it's gonna have the gun. Okay, yeah, that's cool. That makes a lot of sense. And not for nothing, do that too. And now the government has all the damn guns. And then they could, and then
Mm-hmm.
next time they want to fucking start, poking jabs at people, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna, get silly ass sleepy Biden and be like, oh yeah, you guys should really do this. I'm gonna get people behind me. No, no, they're just gonna knock on the fucking door and be like, they're gonna do a scan like, oh you sir, our scans say that you don't have the blab. Come here. Oh, he's not complying. Pow, 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 pow. That's what's
Mm.
gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. So what I want to do is, well, first, we got a comment from Fernando saying, "Sadly, how this is America, not surprising." Thank you, Fernando, for the comment. And I definitely agree. This is, but I think that I think that it's more to do, right, because I was having this conversation with my mom with regards to this whole situation. And my mom was definitely bereft of herself because she has children, right? So she's looking at this from her perspective like, damn, like I can't imagine sending you guys off to school and having to have this on my mind throughout the course of the day, as a result. And so but when we looked at it, we talked about the culture behind how a lot of people in America at this due process, because I agree with my co-host. I think that we're skating so far away from accountability on the people, right? Because I'm one of those people that believes in the fact that guns don't kill people, just kill people, I should say, because obviously the gun itself does, but people are inherently the ones that kill people, right? Because if that gun is just sitting on a table, it's not doing anything to nobody, right? But if that person that is warped, right, and has some insane sense of some insane need to carry out some sort of justice on those that feel that they some 9-year olds that feel that I don't even know how you can feel like they slighted you, right? Because you're going through some unspeakable trauma in your head or wherever you use to create your manifesto. I think that we're, again, this is part of the landscape, right? We're skirting accountability from where it needs to belong, right? Because there's, like, just like my co-host said, just like there's people that want to do bad with guns, there's individuals who are saving other people or saving themselves by use of having guns, right? Because let's be real, okay, you take these guns, quote unquote, off the market. Well, last time I checked, per capita in a lot of these gun states, most people have weapons already. So what are you gonna do? They're gonna bury them in the sand, they're gonna bury them in the dirt, and they're no longer gonna be of use. No, they're gonna still go outside to their to the trees or their target practice outside. They're still going to let loose, right? And then when the cops come, they're probably going to just store it somewhere where nobody can find it, right? That this is not you saying that guns should be more stringent gun laws. Well, I think that we're taking the responsibility of individuals to hold these people accountable, because I guarantee you, right, that the people that are, I guess you would say, that are watching these individuals. I mean, the Florida shooting, this shooting, I'm sure the signs were all there, right? I mean, even with the Florida shooting, they had the kid on a watch list, if I'm correct, because of some of the things he was posting way before the shooting. So like there's got to be a sense of like, hey, like what are we not doing? Why are we not sticking to holding these kids or these people, these adults or whoever? Why are we letting them just walk through life without checking them and making sure that, hey, look, shit, like what's going on up there? I think there's a lot of times there's sort of like a missing piece to this puzzle that I think people are just skating away from, and they're just throwing it all on the guns. Well, guns have been around in the US for hundreds of years. Last time I checked, there weren't school shootings.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, so that's kind of where I stand with all this gun law talk. It just disheartens me when it becomes like where people are trying to make it a bipartisan thing, where it's like, oh well, you lefties are so this, and then it's because now they're making it out when when a person on the right says like, oh well, hey, let's focus on the individual. Let's not just be saying skirt away from guns. Oh, you just want your gun. You're just gun happy, good trigger happy. You just want to be out here shooting people. It's like, come on, let's be adults about this, right? And actually have a conversation.
No, but you can't have a conversation
Um,
nowadays.
but yeah, so yeah, no, there's you know what it is. I have these like moments on the toilet. Um, you know, I don't know why. But anywho, I have these moments on the toilet where
Yo,
I have these like, these moments of clarity, right? Where it's like with any of these issues that, the left goes so, they sort of fanfare for, it's like, and I don't know, maybe I should have already noticed, but it's like, it's only right if I agree.
yeah, yes,
To me that
yes,
sounds a little totalitarian, right? So if I say, oh well,
yes.
I don't conform to this, then I'm getting shamed all over. But then if I lean towards a less emotional, sensationalized viewpoint, and I sort of take myself away from the situation, I say, hey, hold up, maybe it's not this. Oh my god, you're just and you get
Oh,
chastised, you lose your job, you lose, even this topic we're having in itself, we had to try to figure out a way to not just because of the families, obviously, because that's an important part, but even just as part of this conversation, right? Because we still have careers, we still have things that we're doing, and we can't even have a discussion where we're sort of moving away from the conventional ways of thinking without us having to be careful, because essentially everything online um is evidence to somebody,
yep.
right? And that is such a problematic world to be in, and that really does bother me. So I just had that thought when I was sitting on the toilet today, um and it was so random. I was like, Jesus, this is I can't win. You can't win. You know what I'm saying? If I lean towards the truth, I get canceled. And if I lean towards, my emotion, I get fanfare. I get, we probably be at 1,000 subs by now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
if we was out here, doing all of that, we'd probably
Championing all the
be,
nonsense.
yeah, we would, yo, we freaking million subscribers, all this stuff. Like, it'd be ridiculous, But
Yeah,
no,
bro.
no, 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 no. I can't. I can't do
Oh,
that. I won't do that. I'll never do
hey, Justin just came in with the comment. The fact is that kids do not have a chance. That's a very good point, Justin. Justin, actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about a post that I saw you post. I think it was the other day, where there was a bigger
that. So,
conversation that was taking place. You saw that, right? Where people were just like going at Justin, for his viewpoint on like the gun changing the gun laws, should not be the solution, right? There should be
yeah, good
the
old
solution of
Xavier
bringing
Jack.
more individuals. Say it again. I'm sorry.
I said good
Oh
old
yeah, yeah,
Social
yeah.
Warriors Xavier Jack was out there. Once I
Yes,
saw his
yes. He made
comment,
an
I was like, yeah,
appearance.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Yeah, he made an appearance for sure.
Yep.
And it got to the point. I was going through the comments, Justin, and I saw you even had to get to a point where you're like, look, like because somebody was trying to trying to make the point that you're just saying like, oh, the funds that should just be utilized in this way because there's funds all over the place because we're giving money to the Ukraine. And the person was like, well, I mean, if a better example as to where the funds could be is the 5% tax hike or things of that nature on those industries or something of that nature. They're trying to make it one of those where tax the rich type things, where there should be
Another
extra money laying in
socialist
there.
fucking trope.
Correct.
Oh
So
my
Justin was like, "Look, man, I don't care where the money comes from," and this is something I appreciate Justin for. He was like, I'm summarizing obviously, but he was like, I don't care where the money comes from. These people, there's money. The point is that there's money to be found, right? And the money can be utilized to bring in individuals who are specialized, who are not working, who their talents are not being utilized because they cannot go off to they can't be sent off right at the moment to Iraq or wherever station they need to be sent to. So they're just sitting here, trying to working jobs that they probably don't want to work, when they could be, protecting people who need protecting. Let's be frank. So I definitely appreciated Justin's comment on that, because that was something that stood out to me. It's like, damn, bro, like, it's just an example. Like, there's money around. Like, my whole point is not to say that I'm the lefties are too worried about Ukraine. That wasn't his point. It was just that there's money sitting in places that where we can use these resources for to get on, to be more proactive as opposed to reactive,
Yeah,
right?
well, you know what? I mean,
So yeah.
yeah, uh, agreed on that, but also no, there's definitely I don't want to just like gloss past that. And then again, I'm apolitical, right? But with that being said, no, the quote unquote lefties do want to be stuck on that. Think about it. Between the time that Biden got in office, he's tried to pass legislation uh, to basically break, you know, gun ownership in the United States, right? And he's done since he's been in office is billions upon billions of dollars to Ukraine. Um, Now there was, unfortunately, very tragically, there was not quote unquote a school shooting. And now we hear the same talks about, let's sign off on this bill that I'm putting forth to Congress to to basically take guns away and restrict this stuff and yada yada. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
I think we have an easier solution on our hands. Stop giving money to other countries. Stop giving money
Oh.
to Ukraine. Stop giving money for these like what they call these like safe cities where the illegal immigrants come into the country and then they ship them to these fucking cities and they get to live and they take care of them and all sorts of stuff. And again, I'm not against immigration. You just got to do it the right way because if not, then you're a strain on our whole system. Okay, so stop uh, spending money on all of that because all of that whole like enterprise has a whole bunch of jobs tied to it. We're
Mm-hmm.
paying people not on top of the resources that we're giving these illegal immigrants. On top of the resources that we're giving to the Ukraine, we're paying people to be in Ukraine and be nearby Ukraine. We're paying people to be in these fucking safe cities to help these
Mm-hmm.
illegal quote unquote immigrants, right? So not only just the resources, we're paying people to do that. We've created jobs, which is a good thing, to do something that shouldn't need to be done. But yet we can create jobs to do something that should be done.
Hmm. You know what? And Justin, sorry, I missed some of your comments. Justin also noted, and it is not as simple as blaming guns. Another comment from Justin. Amen.
Talk
Invest in
about
the
agreeing.
U.S. first. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Show another comment. Yeah. So I got to get better with that, guys. And just so you know, like, this is, what I'm saying, like, so we don't have this conversation. I took down the I guess the CNN article, because honestly I think that this is a I think having this conversation is extremely paramount, because at the end of the day, when we're talking about what to do, how to create a safe space for these children, right? These children to be able to learn and to be able to focus on bettering their lives, right? Creating their futures, right? We need to we need to be realistic, and we also need to take time out to understand, where are the problems stemming from, right? When my co-host talks about, the issues that plague the Black community, and he talks about how, you have to start at inception, it there for you to blame the plight of there's a lot of people that will blame the plight of the Black community out on the cocaine and the drugs and all these other things, right? But at the end of the day, somebody still has to put the drugs in their nose or in their mouth in order for it to become a problem. You can't get addicted if you aren't doing the drugs. So what makes a person, right, who probably may have addictive tendencies? Their father might have been an alcoholic, their grandfather might have been an alcoholic, they may have had an issue with something, right? For them to just say, you know what, let me just wash my pain away by enjoying said tropes. So for us to blame the guns for somebody taking it upon themselves to strap up with an AR-15, put on a vest with a and have a handgun also, so that way they can incur as much damage as possible. I can't even imagine how many people in the state of Texas have AR-15s and have handguns. But last time I checked, they're not running around. I don't even know the last time I heard about a school shooting in Texas. And last time I checked, Texas has the most guns per capita than any other state in the fucking U.S. But I don't hear about a ton of. I mean, obviously outside of Uvalde, um, if that was Texas, right? I believe.
Uh, yes.
Yeah, but that's like the one I've heard outside of the what's it called, for the years that they've had guns, and they've had the loosest gun laws, that any state could presume. So for us to be sitting here going, well, you know what, guns are bad, okay, and because you got guns, you gotta make sure you run. You know what I'm saying? Like this is crazy. This is crazy talk. But then we don't talk about those stories about vigilantes or individuals who take it upon themselves to protect others by other use of guns. Because last time I checked, if you got a knife and I got a gun, I like my chances. And so, what do you want to do? You want to let these people who are defenseless just be sitting there waiting to get slaughtered by? Because let's be real, this is not going to be the last school shooting. It's not. Right? We're going to have this moment again because statistically, you know what I'm saying, by the number of occurrence of these school shootings, it's not like something that we all want to happen, but it's statistically it's going to happen again. And what do you want? At some point, we have to start looking at you know damage control. We have to start looking at mitigation, right? So that way we can create avenues by which people are able to protect themselves. We got Justin for another comment. Let me put up on the screen. California leads the pack in school shootings, also boasts some of the strictest gun laws and lowest gun ownership. Thank you, Justin. Aaron, you want to comment on that? I keep saying, I keep doxing you. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah. You just trying to
Jesus
get me
Christ.
trying to get me canceled. You trying to run the show
Yeah,
on your
that's right, I am.
own.
That's right, I am.
It's all good.
Ayo.
To what Justin said, what I say to that is, who's surprised, right? When you just look at crime statistics in general, they always come from the same. And again, you know, I don't really like going into like the political, like aspect of it because again,
Mm-hmm.
I'm apolitical. Like, I used to, like I had great aspirations to do politics and stuff. Just over it. It's all a fucking racket anyway.
Yeah, speaking to the mic
Really,
because you were drifting off there.
these politicians are just, you know, they're choosing, man. They're choosing. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, these politicians know where their bread is buttered, and they like to keep getting their bread buttered.
Mm.
So uh, that's why I stay away from the political aspects of these conversations and just focus on the nitty gritty, which is how do we prevent this from happening? Because it's a trend now. Like I said at the top of the show, it's a trend.
Mm-hmm.
It's in vogue. I was driving from Home Depot today, and like, hey, like if you're gonna try to take it all in context, okay? Because this is the thought
Yeah.
that came in my mind. I'm driving from Home Depot to my house because we're doing work there and painting and all that stuff. And I was thinking to myself, I said, hey, well, look, I mean, if somebody really just wanted to like catch a couple bodies, they could
Mm-hmm.
just get a gun and just start shooting people, right? And that's well,
Yep.
doesn't happen that often. Is that school shootings? Yeah, that's a thing. And again, it's become in vogue because it's a quote unquote thing. And I'm not trying to glamorize it or like perpetuate others doing so, but it has to stop being a thing
Mm-hmm.
in order for us to have it stop happening. Because again, you can't just say, "Oh yeah, like guns kill people and shit like that." Because that's the case, motherfuckers would just Grand Theft Auto style. You know what?
Bruh.
I'm trying to kill people. I'll just walk out the house. Whoever I see is getting these bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go in the middle, like, "I'm getting 5 stars out here, motherfucker. Bring the helicopter." Or some shit like that.
Yo.
No, I mean, that's serious. We don't see that happening. But what we do see is people taking guns to schools
Mm-hmm.
where they know they're gonna be able to just prey on, uh, children that have no protection.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, a 9-year-old, they have no idea what's going on. They can't even grasp what the fuck is happening, you know? So again, so we can't just sit here and say, "Oh, well, it's the guns." No, it's the people. It's the fucking because they're not that fucking stupid, not that fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, we need mental health experts and shit like that. I saw Justin on your post. I saw one of our mutual friends. No disrespect to her. She's cool. I got no issue with her. But she was like, oh, on top of what you said, she was like, oh, we need mental health experts in the school. And I'm not sitting here saying that I'm against that. But what I am saying is this: if a motherfucker wants to shoot some shit up, they're gonna shoot some shit up. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, motherfuckers ain't going and shooting up Fort fucking Knox. They're not shooting up Fort
Mm-hmm.
Dix in New Jersey. I don't see these army
Mm.
bases getting shot the fuck up. I don't see police precincts getting shot the fuck up. I don't see trap houses getting shot the fuck up. I don't see none of these places getting shot the fuck up. So obviously these niggas that are fucking shooting shit the fuck up, they know, hey, if I want to shoot some shit the fuck up, the best bet is probably go to a goddamn school. And that's sad. That's sad. Because why aren't they going to shoot up fucking Fort Knox and Fort Dix? Why aren't they going to shoot up
Mm-hmm.
their local fucking police precinct? A lot of these motherfuckers out here anyway saying, yelling and screaming, fuck the police, and kill pigs, pigs burn, all this shit. So how come they're not going in there and shooting that shit the fuck up? Because they're not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But if we had, just a close similarity to the defenses that these other places have, to worry about another kid dying at school. We don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? The last thing a policeman is worried about is getting shot on the job at the fucking job.
Mm.
That's the last thing on that nigga mind. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, being a police job. Them niggas is worried once they leave the precinct. You think they in that motherfucker worried? Hell no. But yet we send our kids to these schools where this is the norm, where it's like fucking target fucking practice.
Mm.
No. And again, back to what we were talking about before, or at the very least that I was talking about, because this shit's really starting to piss me the fuck off. If you're over here
Mm-hmm.
talking about, oh, we gotta restrict the guns and shit, you are a fucking idiot. No disrespect, but you're an idiot and you're an ideologue.
Uh,
You have
I
you
think
have
that
this ideology that you just want to, you just want to stand 10 toes down on. And again, that's part of the reason why I do not indulge in that whole the political sphere anymore, because it turns into that. Oh well, I'm a Democrat, so the Democratic side is, hey, we gotta take away the guns. So if something happens, my go-to is, well, we should take away the guns, or I'm gonna try to pull up some statistics from somewhere that's gonna make my position look a little better than what it actually is. And again, we shouldn't be doing that anyway. What we should be doing is focusing on what has happened and how can we prevent it from happening again in the future, regardless of fucking party lines. Period. Period. How can we stop it? The answer is you cannot stop. Yo, drugs is outlawed. Yet we got fucking hospitals all over this motherfucker, fucking fentanyl and shit. Help motherfuckers like get off fucking drugs and stop from dying from an overdose. We got all this shit. We got places in New York City, not that far from where the fuck we live, Mike, where motherfuckers can literally go in there and they'll administer the heroin to them safely. That way, the needle is safe. You're not gonna get any,
mm-hmm.
infections from the needle. And then we're gonna give you the right dose. That's what's going on. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? No, they want to keep the problems around instead of calling a spade and say, no, you gotta get your shit together, or fucking suffer the consequences on your own. No, 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 no. What we're living in is, hey, oh, it's okay. Hey, don't worry about it. We got some fresh, clean needles over here. Come downtown. Our hours are from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We'll
Mm.
take care of you. We'll make sure that you won't die from doing some shit that you shouldn't be fucking doing anyway, right?
Mm.
It's just a fucking joke.
Yeah, no, I just it's exhausting, man. I definitely, oh my god, I feel for these families. Once again, because this is not, none of this is okay. I think that if you're on both sides of the aisle, I think you can, I think what most people can agree on is that this isn't all right, right? And there's got to be, for you to, sure, you could make the gun law stricter, but that's not going to stop. Like my coach was talking, that's not going to stop somebody from going. It's like, okay, yeah, you restrict the guns. Well, guess what? I already got 20 guns, and guess what I'm going to do? I could just jump in my car,
Yeah.
right? Because I already got them, right? Because again, this guy was 28 years old. I'm pretty sure, based upon the articles
Oh, it was a girl.
that I've read,
It was a
the
trans.
individual, the individual,
That's
has
nothing.
had the,
No one's talking about that.
yeah,
No
no,
one's
that's,
talking about that. Most of the people that know about this shooting, sorry to cut you off, brother. Most of the people that know about this shooting don't even know that that was a quote unquote trans person, and don't even know that was a quote unquote Christian school. It
mm-hmm.
was a church school. I beg to differ. Colorado likely
Hold on,
has
I'll pull it up. Let me pull it up on the thing. We got a
uh,
comment from Ron Durr.
I beg to differ. Colorado likely has the most school shooting. In fact, we experienced one Monday. A 17-year-old brother. I'm not sure. You mean black dude, or you just mean like he had a brother? Was tired of being harassed by administrators who violated his civil, I'm
Is
assuming,
there more
rights.
to it? Hold on, I want to see if
Sorry,
there's more to it. Yeah.
but
Uh, I guess it's civil rights.
white brother though. I
Ron
guess it
Durr.
was a black dude. Ron, Ron, if it
Yeah.
was a black dude, just say it was a black dude. You don't got, or a black kid. You don't gotta say brother, unless you're black. Then okay, I get it. But I don't know. What you are. I'm assuming you black, but you said 17-year-old brother. Um, hey, look,
But yeah,
Colorado.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Isn't that where Columbine was?
Yes, that's correct. That's
That's like
correct.
ground zero out there.
But Ron, like I'm gonna just quickly answer the Ron. I mean, Ron, this goes back to, it goes back to that person, right? Because again, I don't know this situation in particular, right? Obviously, this is something that hasn't made the national news net yet. I'm guessing it wasn't good enough for the news cycles. So while I definitely feel for that situation. Where were the telltale signs? Right, because I guarantee you just said that this person was tired of being harassed by administrators, so that means that there had to have been something that, hold on, let me pull up Ron's next comment. There had to have
Yeah.
been something.
No, I don't think Ron's saying like I think he's agreeing. He's just disagreeing with what Justin said about California. I think that's all he's trying to say. Like Colorado is like really they out there, getting shots up.
Well, no,
I think that
but
I think he
Justin's talking
agrees.
about, them having the strictest. I wouldn't think that Colorado had the strictest gun laws, would they? Especially considering
No, but
Columbine
yeah, but
was
Ron
definitely,
said, I beg to differ. Colorado likely has the most school shooting. That's what he said.
okay.
So he didn't
Please,
go in. He didn't say anything about um, the other part. He was from that again. Ron's here. He could put it in the comments. Yeah, I don't have
yeah.
to
Like,
give him.
Ron, let me know whether or not you were, whether or not your point was in opposed to an earlier comment with regards to California leading the pack in school shootings. Um, well, I encourage you to do the research. Okay, okay, Justin. I encourage you to do the research. Uh, so I guess, okay. So thank you, Aaron. Oh, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Double A Hef. I appreciate that. That definitely clears it up. Yeah, because I saw I beg to differ. I wasn't really too sure where that was. Where he was directing the comment to, because we've talked about a lot during the course of this conversation. Uh, but yeah, Ron, let us know where I guess where you differentiate with Justin with regards to that point in particular. Are you trying to say that while Colorado has the most school shootings, that do they have the strict gun laws as well in Colorado, or is it on par with California? That I'm not too sure of.
I'm interested to know. I would just off just guessing. I would say probably not because Colorado, that's the Rocky Mountains. They got mountain lions. They got all this. What I'm saying, I'm
Mm.
sure there's a whole bunch of hunting going on in certain parts of Colorado. So and also like crazy snow. People get caught up in the snow. They got bears
Hmm.
out there. You know what I'm saying? You in the car, you stranded. You might want to have a gun on you. If not for nothing, not to kill the bear, just to fucking kill yourself. Like, fuck, you're not gonna kill me, bear. Since
Oh, this guy.
1970, Colorado has had 20 school shootings. Okay, well, I'm not disputing that, but since if you can, how many school shootings California had since 1970, and then also, if you can, I know I'm asking a lot right now, but if we're gonna do it, we gotta do it right, right? So, we gotta look at from 1970 to today, how many shootings also took place in the state of California, and then we also have to, compare the uh, the population of each state, you know, and also population density, because if I were a man, I'm willing to bet that
Oh, Justin came
California
in
has
with the stat.
California has had 164 in the same time frame. Okay, but you know, when we look at population, and I don't know it
Hmm.
off the top of my head, and I'm not saying that to kind of like like quell you. What I'm saying is
No, you're
this
just
is
trying to make sure you keep it
news
honest.
media
That's all.
podcast, so we gotta keep everything in front of us. So what's the population of California from that time to this time on average, and then Colorado, and then also
Well,
look at the
also too, we want to look at the frequency too as well, right? And then and I think as my co-host is getting to is we want to look at per, I guess you would say per population
absolutely.
density,
Yeah.
right? Because there's going to be areas within California. Oh, 4.08 school shootings per capita in California versus 3.3. Well, Justin, this is where my co-host was talking about the with regards to population, right? Because if
Put it on screen. Put it on screen.
Colorado has, it's not on screen. It's on I have a
Oh, okay. So
it's
they can see that. I thought we couldn't see
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, let me know, guys, if you could see the chat overlay that I put on the side, just because we want to make sure you guys are following the conversation as well. But this is a point that my co-host was talking about, Justin, is if Colorado, let's say, for instance, has only 2 million people, right? But California has 12 million people. Well, that 3.3 is going to hold a lot more stringent than the 4.08, right? So we just got to be, like my co said, we want to keep it all the way funky. What is the, where does that range from? Because we want to make sure we're taking this data in due context, if that makes sense, Justin. But yeah, so as we're having this conversation, I mean, guys, I mean, I don't think we're any of us are
Well,
saying this to say
I
that.
mean, before you
Yeah,
get
go
into
ahead.
that, per capita is basically one of the best ways you can boil it down to like even the playing field. Uh, so that is all, both
Okay.
based off 100,000. So Cali's
Okay.
still yeah. So yeah. When it comes to per capita, it's kind of like the best way you're gonna get like a level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I mean, look, I didn't look what this conversation has turned to. Which state has more kids getting shot in school?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
And
nuts,
again,
man.
we should be talking about how we can turn that number not to zero because it's still going to happen. Even if people take the ideas that I put forth today, or the ideas that I've heard others say, there's always ish happens, right? Ish happens. So it's never going to be zero, but we could definitely do a much better job at getting closer to zero than what we've done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think risk mitigation is paramount here. And I honestly, it's not a fun conversation to talk about being reactive, right? Because I think in this situation, it just sort of calls for it, right? You have to get to a point where you say to yourself, okay, well, the guns are not going to go away. People still have the guns, so how do we best put best fit measures in place? How do we put controls in place? Because for me, I work in an industry where we talk about controls all day, controls with your architecture. Does that mean that the controls are going to work always 100%? No. But if you don't have preventative controls, detective controls, right? These are the types of controls that exist. You're gonna your institution, your bank, your where have you. I mean, look at the situation that happened with Credit Suisse, right? Credit Suisse is a notable Swiss bank, right? That has had a huge topple fall within the last year or so. Well, I mean, obviously they've been toppling for a number of years, and it's because of the fact that they had lax controls. Does that to say that they didn't have any controls? No, but if they were more stringent on their detective controls, they would have picked up that there was certain activity that was taking place within the daily dealings of their banking transactions that would have been picked up, and then they wouldn't have gotten the huge fine that they got. Right. So when we're having this conversation, we're concerned here at the Truth Media Podcast. If I could speak for the podcast, we're looking at both of those, preventative and detective. Right. Preventative being, hey, look, how do we get to find some semblance of way of getting at this at the inception? Detective being, okay, so they're going to be here, right? If we can't get this preventative control to 100%, which it won't, what is going to be the next stop in place, so that way we're able to buffer, so that way 10 people is only 2 people. 2 people is only somebody gets instead of 2 people dead, one person is only has a flesh wound, right? Because they're only able to get 1 or 2 shots off. Right, that's where the conversation needs to start heading, and we need to start getting away from this whole back and forth of like, oh well, you're only doing this because you're trigger happy, and oh, you're only doing this because you're a snowflake. Like, that's not helping anybody get anything done.
Oh, hey man, I
Justin,
I
sorry.
definitely. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nope. Justin with another comment. The thought process is that it is hard to exclusively blame gun laws on the problem. It shares some blame, but there are many other factors. Okay, Joe, I think if I'm correct, you're saying it's hard to blame it exclusively on the guns themselves. You're saying that guns have culpability in this issue, but there are a ton of other factors, being that it's multivariate. I would
Yeah,
agree with that for
you
sure.
know, and what I don't want to say pisses me off, but kind of like real, like, in life, it's like no practical. And what I don't like is when people are selective. I like consistency.
Mm,
When people say things, hey, that's fine. Say whether I agree or disagree, that's totally fine. Hey, fuck you want, but don't
mm-hmm,
2 weeks say some shit that's going to be contradictory to the shit you said 2 weeks ago.
mm-hmm,
You know, because now I'm going to take issue with that, and I'm going to look at you like, hey, say it seriously, because you know, your word is shit. And I bring that up to say
right.
this: uh, we, and I'm not talking about me or you. I'm talking about myself at large. Like to blame guns for killing people. Do people blame hearts for killing people? Do people blame kidneys for killing people? Blame brains for people that have aneurysms for killing people? Do people blame stairs and fucking die? I don't see people saying, we gotta cut too many stairs. There's too many. It's too many stairs, and that stair is the bad stair. We gotta get rid of the stairs. Elevators in every house. We don't see that. But people die every year falling down the fucking stairs. But we don't hear people saying stairs kill people, because
Mm-hmm,
the stairs didn't. And not for nothing, the gun didn't kill people, because you know what? Guns don't have intent, and that's why stairs don't kill people. Stairs don't have intent. Now, if you have a set of stairs with the intent to kill something or somebody, please fuck out. That shit needs to be on TV. But you can't find
mm-hmm.
it. You'd be hard pressed to find it. So no, how come
Yeah, the
it's only
dangerous
about
stairs.
guns? Because it fits a narrative, and also because
Mm-hmm,
it fits a voting trend. You know, it's a voting hot topic. So hey, I'm gonna
mm-hmm.
come out on this side of this, and I'm gonna that's gonna help me. That's the sure thing to get me elected. We got to strip all that shit away. That's again, I'm not telling y'all what to do. All I can tell you is what the fuck I do. I'm apolitical because all of it again is a racket. All right, you're playing the damn game, you get caught up in it. Next thing you know, the team that you're fucking waving the pom poms for, you know what I'm saying? They don't give a shit about you. As long as you fucking vote for them, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times that's what people just do. Oh, time for me to vote. What side's the red side? What side's the blue side? You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck's fucking on the sheet on the bill, whatever. I'm voting this way. You know, I don't have to look at it. I don't have to read it. Oh, Donald Trump's over there. Oh, I'm voting over here. Like it's just like people can't be that uh thick thick headed where they can't understand that hey, you know, I should break things down piece from my perspective. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, critical
You know,
thinking is lost, man. That that
it makes
that
no
time
sense.
is over.
If you're gonna say guns kill people, say stairs kill people, say cars kill people. You know how many fucking vehicular fucking manslaughter cases that are out there. We don't hear people saying the car killed somebody. No, because the car didn't have intent. The gun doesn't have intent. The gun didn't wake up and be like, you know what? I'm about to catch like 5, 6 bodies today. You know that doesn't
Hmm.
happen. A person woke up and said, you know what? I'm about to shoot up my whole fucking job. Them niggas done fired me. Oh yeah, that shit getting shot up. Or a person says, you
Hmm.
know what? I got fired. Fuck this shit. I'm just gonna drive my car into a busy area. That's what happens. Blame
Hmm.
the people. And if you want,
Rondeur.
by extension, blame all the people attached to them. All the people that missed the fucking signs. You know what I'm saying? Blame them. You know, because some people know. Because how do I know people know? Because people are social creatures. People fucking talk. You know what I'm saying? We know who's crazy, who's not. So
Rondeur.
blame those people.
We got a
I'm
comment
listening.
from Ronder. Yeah, we got a comment from Ronder. I believe it's important to discuss why a 17-year-old black male had his civil rights trampled over daily, then shot the two administrators who violated him, then committed suicide. Rhonda, real quickly, thank you for this. These your comments and your dialogue today. Let me know if you can see the chat overlay. Um, if you can see the chat overlay, Justin, as well, let us know if you can see the chat overlay on the side on your end. Just because I want to make sure it's not, because I have it up, I want to make sure it's pulling it up, so you
Hey,
guys can also
Ron
read
on the screen.
along.
Let's get Ron on the screen. Ron's gonna get into a couple of videos, a few of our videos. Let's get him on the screen so everyone can see that. And then, let's address what he said. I'll let you go. I'll read it, and then I'll let you go. I believe it's important to discuss why a 17-year-old black male. I knew it because he said brother. I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Had
All right,
his civil
thank you,
rights
Ron.
trampled over. Then shot the two administrators who violated him, then committed suicide. So, what do you that particular instance?
No, I think that Ron is speaking to what we've been talking about throughout the duration of this conversation, with regards to we need to get to the source, right? We need to get to the I don't want to say the finding out the mental anguish that takes someone from a regular old student, somebody that sort of just woke up and was like, hey, I'm doing fine, to a kid that's saying, shit, man, like the forces that may be are against me, and the only way that I can solve my issues is by taking this school by storm and taking out these two adults, right? So I think that the conversation, this conversation is extremely important, Ron. I think this is something that we definitely need to get into the minds of. But I think, as my co-host mentioned as well, this is a tough one, man, because at the end of the day, people are going to this is going to be controversial, but I just think America in itself, um, is extremely soft. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying. I just think that Americans, this whole culture around, oh well, if somebody's poo pooing on me, if I'm getting bullied, if I'm getting this, if I'm getting that, like I remember when we were growing up, when you had issues, right? You solved it with your hands, right? You solved it with your mouth, right? If you were bad at roasting, or if you were bad at talking shit, you got better. You got better. as opposed to just getting going postal and then just taking everybody out. Like you got guys that are 28 years old going. This wasn't even the first elementary school he wanted to take out, but
Sheep.
supposedly from the reports that he just was like, oh, this wasn't the first one they wanted to take out. Okay, so they
They
just were like,
know.
oh, let me just what. That's not the point, man. I'm trying to get to the conversation. So that this is where we've gotten to in society now, where it's like, well, if you make me feel bad about myself, or you make me feel as though I'm not being heard, well, guess what I got to do? I got to spark fire through the hallways. That's insane to me. That's absolutely insane. I think it's a cultural thing. Not to say it's a black community
You
wide,
know
because
what?
it's two
Uh,
sides of the coin that are doing it.
we've going
Can
on a
you
little
imagine
long.
being patted down on a daily basis?
Hold on. I want to get to what Ron's saying, but I want to redirect the conversation. Okay, so it says, can you imagine being patted down and humiliated on a daily basis in front of your high school peers? Um, Coupling that with what Ron said before, and again, Ron lives out in the Colorado area. If anyone else out here on this watching this is familiar with this story, then please, jump in the comments too. I, for one, I'm not familiar with it. I live far from Colorado. I am going to do my due diligence and look this up. So I don't want to say too much because again, I don't know. I don't know what really happened. I know what Ron's saying, and I'm not sitting here saying that Ron is out here spewing, misinformation. But I need to do my own, right? I need to look it up, and I implore everyone, every single one of you to do the same. Don't just take what the hell you hear us say. Because we call this channel the True Scope. I mean, it is the True Scope, and we do get the truth.
The
But
Truth
still,
Media
hey,
Podcast. This guy, man.
I'm sorry. Yes,
Jesus.
the, don't just take what we say against the wall, and see what sticks for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the truth, and you may not like what we say, but so anyway, Ron, I don't know what happened. I don't know why that kid was being quote unquote harassed. If he was, I don't. Harassed is a blanket term. Everything can be considered harassment nowadays. So I don't. I need to know more particulars on like what exactly happened.
I mean, Ron,
And
I'm gonna
how
be
he
honest, man. I'm not being humiliated. Again, I was brought up differently. This would not humiliate me. If I'm getting patted down every day, okay, because it's like, okay, like it's not humiliation would be the word. I would be annoyed. Sure, yes, as a human being, I'd be annoyed. Again, we don't have all the facts, but if these are the things that this is Ron, this is where I was going to, right? I know my co-host is trying to redirect the conversation, but this is what I'm speaking to, right? We can't live in a world where just because things are not going your way, the only result is to create mass chaos and ruin lives for everybody else. There's got to be other ways to handle what the f is going on in your life. Getting patted down every day for whatever else you're getting patted down for, to say that that's something I'm going to then go and take out people, that's a crazy jump. So that's kind
I
of
would
where
say
I'm
this
going to.
to add to that, because again, Ron, look, I'm going to do my research on this because it's very interesting.
I'm
And
just speaking to the points that he's bringing to
no,
the
no,
table. That's
I
all.
get that, but I
Obviously, we
want to
need
say this.
to see more.
I want to say this because you know, Ron, you say he was being harassed, right? And again, I'm not sitting here calling you a lie. I'm just going off what you have has shared have shared with us. If he's being quote unquote harassed by that, but one again, like my co-host said, I would probably laugh at it. It's like really, like, yeah, I really think I got a gun? Like, come on, like this is ridiculous. This is over the top. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Bro,
tell your mother. You know what I'm saying, or if you have both your parents, tell them. You know, or whatever. Or just laugh about it. It's not even whatever.
word.
I'm pretty sure you're not getting picked on in school, so you can't be that humiliated.
Yeah, because they
You know
think you
what I'm saying?
got a gun, man. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So
everything you got
they're
a
like,
gun, so
hold
they
up
know
now.
picking on you, so
Hmm.
I don't think it could be that bad. But hey, again, I'm not trying to poo-poo people. But with that being said, for this
Shit,
young
I
brother
am.
to actually prove them right doesn't help his fucking case. I can't look at this story and say, oh well, you know what? Damn, that poor kid. He literally he came in school with a gun and shot the motherfucker. So maybe they were on to something. Maybe when there's smoke, there's fucking fire. And again, I'm going just
Mm.
based off what you told me, Ron. I got to look into it more. But if he's getting patted down, and then hey, he winds up bringing a gun to school, well, yeah, maybe they should have had Texas before they patted him down. He was the only black male being humiliated and very well shot up various other students, but didn't. All right, hey, you know what? Again, Ron, I appreciate you for with the comments, and I'm not trying to disparage you. I don't want what I'm saying to come across as such, but I'm going to look into it because this is brand new to me, um, which is kind of crazy how it hasn't gotten any media coverage.
Yeah,
Uh,
man, because it's not sensationalized enough, man.
oh yeah,
It's not to say, but if he was killing other gang guys, they would have been, killing gang. If it was a gang on gang, you know what I'm saying? They would have had it on CNN in a heartbeat.
or if they would have killed the
But
black kid,
you know what
oh
I'm
my god,
saying?
it would have been
Yeah,
all over. It would have been
yeah, they would
all
have they
over,
would have
man.
taken that to
So,
town. You know what I'm saying?
but
So
he was the only
no, I'm
black
yeah,
male,
no, sorry. Like Ron, I think I
No, no,
appreciate
I'm
I
just
appreciate
saying,
the stance.
if he's the only black male,
Oh, sorry, you were saying something. Yo, yeah, you're because you're breaking up. You're lagging. Yeah, I can
all
hear you.
right, all right, just take it then.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna say, no, Ron. I'm not. I think that we're because again, we don't have all the facts. We don't have all of the sort of all the particulars. Because again, to say he was the only one, we don't know. Like we don't know that. Not to say that you're not on to something, right? You're not. What you're not quoting correctly because again, we don't know. But again, Ron, you've got to at least come to some semblance of a meeting of the minds when you say, is this the result that was necessary? Even if we got all the facts to the table, the same result is that two administrators are now dead because of quote unquote humiliation, right? Like I don't know. When I was in school, I could only speak to I guess my anecdotal, but anytime I felt annoyed, right, I just simply told the teachers off. Maybe my psyche is just different, but I just whenever a teacher made me feel like I was either dumb or I was annoying or I was if I felt like I was being picked down by a teacher, I just let them have it. In a way that, but I did it in a way because again I understood that school was a avenue for me to be able to get to where I need to in life. So yeah, I wasn't demonstrative, but at the same token, I definitely talked my shit. I don't know what happened to where people don't are not utilizing the gift of gab to be able to speak the words that they need to speak. Now we've gotten into a world where you make me feel this way about myself. Now I need to go ahead and affect everybody because I'm pretty sure when they were shot and not killed. Okay, but even still, thank you for bringing that clarification, Ron. But this is why
Damn,
we need to
hold on,
check this
hold
back.
on, wait. So let me get this straight. This young brother,
I think the only person that was killed was him. I think
oh
he
my
committed
god,
suicide.
and that makes it worse. Oh
Yeah.
my god. So I really got to look into this because you're telling me that this young brother was being quote unquote harassed by these administrators. Um, because they clearly thought that he was the danger and clearly thought he was capable of bringing the gun to school. Then the nigga actually does the shit that they thought he was going to fucking do, shoots them, kills himself. They're alive, he's dead. So he accomplished nothing but perpetuating the same quote unquote reason for people like that to be harassed if that was even happening to begin with. Because when I said it, it's like, well, they were right. Like the boy who cried wolf. Wolf, they're gonna start, calling you crazy and you're on some other shit. But the second, oh well, he was right all the damn like all along he was right.
Mm.
Unfortunately, the young man is seen went into the mountains and murdered himself. Unfortunately, man, look. I'll say this:
Oh
when it comes
man,
to certain
that's
situations, I
that's
have
that's terrible,
no
man.
sympathy. I have no sympathy in certain situations, man. And again, I don't know a lot about it. I got to do my research. But for this brother to do all that and then kill himself, it's like, come on, man, come on. What is that about? If that was the case, you could have just ran out and killed yourself. You could have put this extra stuff, dude. I don't understand. Fortunately, you're correct. He virtually accomplished nothing. Exactly. And that's hey, you know what, Ron? I want to thank you for bringing this to my attention because I really need to look into this. I need to know what was exactly going on. How long was it going on for? Who reported it? Was it reported before this stuff or only after? Who was he living with? Was he living with his grandmother? Because if he was living with his grandmother and stuff like this is happening, all right, I could see how that could happen. To your grandmother, oh hey, how it's cool, all that stuff. But if he's with his mother and damn sure if he's with his mother and his father, we got to put this together and figure out how the hell, all of that happened. So, you know, I I don't I don't get it, man. If you wanted to kill yourself, then just kill yourself. Sitting here saying I'm not saying people should be committing suicide, but god damn, you don't have to commit homicide to commit suicide,
Uh,
right?
well, because it goes back to
I mean,
attention, man.
he
A lot of
didn't
these
even
people are looking for attention,
he didn't even commit homicide. He didn't even commit homicide.
bro, man.
That's the
It
worst
goes back to this country,
part.
man.
I mean,
It goes
oh,
back to this country, man.
and then see, now I sound crazy. That's the worst part. Yeah, don't take. All right, so times there is still a conflict follows hostility. We just need to continue to have these uncomfortable talks, share uncomfortable truths. I agreed. I totally agree with that. And he went on to say, and not be offended by perspectives. I agree with that. Austin Scott,
On
wow,
Scott,
that's his
wow.
name. Thank you,
Well,
thank
he
you.
sounds like he might be Xavier. He might be
Yeah, yeah, we gotta watch out for him.
yeah, he might be of the
Xavier
light.
Scott.
Oh,
Okay.
an aspiring architect. Okay, yeah. Well, now none of that, right? Thank you for adding this context, Ron. It definitely, it's building a picture for us. We're definitely gonna take a look at this situation and speak on it because it's unfortunate also that this isn't even being talked about as well. I would be I would have thought the the NAACP would be all over all this, and would have brought something like this to light, right? But again, like instead of him being able to go that route, right, where he contacts these individuals, finds a way to get his voice heard in a more constructive manner, he feels as though, like as if it's what was that Youth of the Nation, you know what I'm saying? You remember that song from what was it, POD,
Yeah, you
the
for the
Youth of the
nation.
Nation? You know what I'm saying? Like, the only way he could be heard is by the sound of the gat. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. It's like I feel like that's the song that these guys are playing. These people are playing when they're driving to go do whatever the fuck they're gonna be doing. This shit's insane. This incessant, yeah, POD. Thank you, Justin. This incessant need for attention, right, that is plaguing the people in this society, is where we find all these the manifesto, right?
Yeah,
Like, how does that not scream? That does not scream somebody that was attention seeking, right? We're like that. This is the problem, right? It's all about me, 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 me. It's trickled down to every aspect of our society, and I think that this is a larger problem, and it's why this kid, like my co-host was saying, you pop two of them, and then you just go to the mountains to create some sort of semblance of a like a movie, and then you kill yourself in the middle of the woods. Like, come on, like what? Where are we going from here? So that's why these conversations for me, like I
uh,
just don't see. I just real quick, I don't see how you get to, right, like get to go from I was made fun of or people didn't agree with me to I'm gonna take people out. Like that to me is where the disconnect happens. And so until we address that, right, where people feel the need to enact on some carnal desire for attention, I don't know where how this is ever gonna stop. Sorry, go ahead.
so I'm reading one article, right, and I want to read this piece about uh the late Austin Scott Lyle, right. It says here at a news conference, Denver Police Chief Ron Thomas said Lyle was being patted down for weapons by school administrators in an office area when he pulled out a gun and opened fire, then fled the scene. So actually, I when I was reading what Ron said, I thought that all happened in the same spot. He's like, pow pow, fuck it, pow. No, he shot them and then fled.
Yeah, and he killed himself in the mountains. That's what Ron later brought back.
Yeah, yeah, but again, so my point is, it's one thing if you're so troubled and so that like you're pushed to the brink, so now you're gonna go to school and shoot them, and now you can't deal with what you've done or whatever, and you're so troubled that you're gonna kill, then kill. But for you to bring the gun to the school and then try to shoot these, not try, actually shoot these people, then flee. That's, I can't even sit here and say that's trouble, because if you're troubled, you probably wouldn't flee. You're troubled, you probably just stay there and do some more troubling fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Fleeing tells me that you got that
Mm-hmm.
much sense to actually get the fuck out of here. Okay,
The
so
presence of mind, yeah.
again, so I'm reading on. This particular student actually, and this is a quote. This particular actually had a safety plan that was in place where they were to be searched at the beginning of the school day every day. Police Chief Thomas told reporters. So my question is, why is this kid being searched every day? Now, clearly, he was a homicidal maniac, but s- the school had must
Yeah.
have known something about him, that was they had a plan in place, and clearly it wasn't a great plan. They should invest in some goddamn metal detectors.
Hmm.
You know, Ron, I typically don't do this, but I gotta ask you a question. Actually, two questions, because I think I already have an idea of it. And again, not to disparage or target you or anything like that, but I'm trying to understand, you know, why you keep going to that. How are you put it on the screen? Yeah, how are you the only black male targeted every day, and eventually you don't blow? So I have a question for you, Ron, and you don't have to answer. You really don't have to answer, but I'm just curious. Are you quote unquote black? And the second question is, if you are you an older quote unquote black male? Because I can only see an older quote unquote black male saying stuff like that, or a quote unquote white male, liberal white male, to be honest with you. So if you want to answer that, you can. If you don't want to, that is fine too. But I'm just, because on this channel, I'm not sure if you've noticed yet. I don't. I'm speaking for me. I don't do the white black thing. Am I sitting here saying that racist, quote unquote, racism doesn't exist? No, I'm not. But what I will say is this: in most instances, it really doesn't play that much of anything. Um, I've made fun of freaking Indian kids. I've made fun of Chinese kids. I made fun of African kids. I've made fun of other black kids. I made fun of white kids, and the same thing goes on and round and round. And you, hey, brother Ron, I knew it. I knew it. Thank you for sharing, brother. And again, no disparage here. We appreciate you. We appreciate your contributions to the channel, your support. But yeah, I'm curious. So yeah, thank you for that, brother. I'm happy that you actually are a brother. What I'm saying? Like, we got more brothers actually on the channel and sharing what's going on in their locales. Um, but as I was saying, you know, gotta. Oh, sorry. We gotta we gotta figure out a way to navigate through life throughout without using the quote unquote racial lens. And again, am I sitting here saying that it does not exist? No, because it does. But it kind of comes into that, uh, what's that? Boy who cried wolf thing. If you keep crying wolf, if you keep crying racism, then when the shit really happens, no one's going to be paying attention or give a fuck about it. You know what I'm saying? So we need to reserve it. So when it does happen, people are like, "Oh shit, like, yeah, that's crazy." You know, I can't sit here and say that what happened to this brother is racism. I can't. I have a hard time believing, and not for nothing because he proved them right. He proved them right.
Stay where you are. You don't
Yeah, I
want,
definitely
nor
don't.
could you understand Coloradan racism. I'm going to speak on this one, Ron. You know what it is? It's even if these things are true, right? Even if it was racism, even if it was targeted, even if it was, we have to. There has to be a point where we can have this conversation and say, what is this really necessary? You cannot. We can't go back and, like, for us to be sitting here having a convo about, the racism and all of this. At the end of the day, the actions that he took as a result of the slighting that he was taking on a day by day basis, it outshines anything that was happening to him that was problematic in its first place. Because now, guess what? The conversation is now shifted from, oh, this young man was being slighted, this young man was being, in fact, being harassed, in fact, being targeted. But no, now he took it upon himself to shift the conversation just truly because of his actions. I gave a point where he could have, there was so many other avenues that he could have taken to be able to get to the result that he wants, which is inherently to stop being harassed. Going into the school and then just popping off on people and then taking yourself out so that no one gets any sort of credence as to what the heck is going on in your mind does you what? It does you no good. So for us to
Yeah,
be having this conversation about Coloradan racism, having like, what is that? What does it do? Like, nobody cares about that. They care about those administrators that were shot, the kids that are at that school that are now traumatized because of his said actions. What about those kids? They didn't ask him to wake up that day and to come into school and then for him to be popping off on people. There's got to be a different way, Ron. That's all we're saying here, man. It's not this racism thing is, yeah, it's a fruit that's low lying, man, and that is why the people that are at the top are winning, because we just sit here and we're chewing on this, and at the end of the day, all of this fuck shit is going on around us, and it's not getting us anywhere. These conversations are having. We should be talking about what were the better steps to be able to get this kid to stop being harassed if he was in fact being harassed. Not about, oh well, just because he's
yeah.
black.
Well,
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that if he
hold on.
was the only person.
There's more. And then I'll let you get back into it. Lyle, the deceased, transferred to East High School after being disciplined and removed from Overland High School in nearby Aurora for a violation of board policy during the last school year. Cherry Creek School District spokesperson Abby Smith told Newsweek. So he was basically kicked out of his last school for doing something that wasn't disclosed. So, if I'm a betting man, I'm going to bet. Hey, look. It's one thing if this guy's a straight A student and he transferred to this school for better
Mm.
opportunities, and then hey, we got to pat this guy down. No, he already came in with a record. He already came in on some other shit, and the fact that it wasn't disclosed, like it, it's rather telling. It's
Uh-huh.
rather telling. And again, the fact that the dude actually came to school with a gun. I'm saying because he couldn't have been in school that damn long. The nigga just transferred there. It's March. It's March. I don't know when the school year starts out in Colorado, but out here, you still
Uh-huh.
got April, May, and June. So, like both can't be true. Both can't be true. What I think is that the kid had some behavior issues, and he was probably known to have these issues, and he was probably showing, like hints while he was there, like, maybe we should, keep a close eye on him. And were they singling him out? I wouldn't say that based off that premise. I would say it is what it is. If he's the only one out here acting crazy, it's like we're not singling him out, but he's the only one. He's the only one. Is that discrimination? Is that discrimination? If I'm the only black guy that applies for a job and I don't get it, do I automatically yell discrimination and racism? Is that the only reason why I didn't get the job? Could it be that application late? Could it? You know what I'm saying? Could it be that my phone just kept, or does it just always resort to I was black? That's why. I'm black. Or he was black. That's why. Like, and nothing that we've done prior to set ourselves up in that light, whether it be positive or negative, none of that means shit, right? It it's only about being black. And my issue, um, and I have the same discussion with my uncle. I'm not gonna say his name, but my uncle, maybe not all the time, but we have these discussions far more often to go because I know how quote unquote older black dudes. I know how they think, and they think like, oh, hey, racism, and basically it's all like super Democratic Party mantra stuff, and hey, racism around the corner is gonna get you, and it's like like that's just not it's just not true. It's not even close to true. Um, you know, if anything out here is gonna get you, it's gonna be you. You're gonna get yourself. And this is exemplified in this story. This young brother actually got himself. Racism did not kill him. He literally killed himself.
Ron, well, I mean, to your last comment, I just wanted to make sure you gentlemen were aware yet. But Ron, I think this is where and thank you for creating the dialogue today. I mean, we had an article that we were going to go through, but I think this conversation was extremely paramount to have, to see where the differentiating and views of experiences. Because I mean, I can't imagine living in Colorado. I mean, I have a friend that lived in Colorado for a time. And he was around during that. I believe it was that shooting at the supermarket in Boulder, Colorado, where so where all that craziness was going on. So, we're not making these comments to say that Colorado doesn't have its shortcomings. We are fully aware that there's issues like these, right? There's racism and the like that exists in many of these different states. I think that the conversation, though, if we're going to be, because first, if we just go off of the beginning part of the way you set up this conversation, we thankfully were able to take a look at some of the background of the situation. Because if that was the case, if we just ran with some of the points that you were making earlier, it would be very easy for us to side with this young man's plight, when in fact there's going to be some information that looks like that my co-host is bringing to the table that says that, hey, look, he was a troubled youth, and that there were telltale signs that these people were trying. They were trying to put in place preventative measures to keep him from doing the things that he ended up doing to begin with. I mean, to end off his life with. So we can't make this a black or white or all this. At the end of the day, the lives that are getting lost are Caucasian. They are Mexican. They are black. They are this. They are like at some point or other we have to move away from this very surface level viewpoint of black versus white is bad, white versus black is bad, black versus Jewish is bad. This, like, when we keep going through these avenues and skirting away from the real topic at hand, all it's doing is muddying up the water from people being able to come to the truth. And this is why I love this podcast, doing this podcast from my viewpoint, because we don't sensationalize this stuff. It's all about how did we get here? How did we get from point A to point Z to where now there's hundreds of people that are being impacted by the actions of a troubled young man, right? To where he had to go ahead and take his own actions upon himself to rectify a situation that could have gotten taken care of way before this.
You
So
know,
we can't just take that low hanging fruit of racism and just make it the end all be all, because again that I think that just makes it very low IQ for us to have these conversations.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure, I agree. But again, I definitely want to thank you, Ron, for bringing this up. This was a
Absolutely.
it was a wow. You definitely spruced up the conversation. You started the conversation, so again, thank you. Hey, and guys, we say it all the time. Hop in the comments. Hop in the
Absolutely.
comments. Let us know what's going on near you. Like Ron said, Mike, you don't have it on the screen, but I can see it in the comments. He said, "I just wanted to make you gentlemen aware of yet another Colorado high school." And thank you, Ron. Thank you immensely for that, because I had no idea. I would have never. I don't see.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
probably would have never. So without you, without this network that we're building, that we're creating, we have this. But we need to know what's going on, because also keep in mind this was a young brother. That's a young brother right there. We just
Hmm.
lost. We just lost
Aspiring to
a
be
young
an
brother.
architect, man.
So
A
whether
very
I agree
lucrative career.
or not, whether I think that he was truly being harassed and that what he did was, somewhat justified for it, whether I agree or disagree with any of that, it's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, a young life was lost. So I'm never going to be happy, but I do want to read on because there's more to this story. Wednesday's shooting came after the school students' report of stricter gun laws earlier this month, after 16-year-old student Luis Garcia was fatally shot while sitting in a car near the school on February 18th. Ron, if you've heard about that, let me know or let us know in the comments, please. Um, Reading on. This week's incident also came 3 years after Denver schools decided to eliminate a program that put armed police officers in school buildings, relying instead on the district's security team. So they had something in place where they had armed police officers in school. Like that was the thing. And 3 years ago, they took it away.
Hmm.
They took it away. Um, I'm not surprised about the first part where it said that the students marched in support of stricter laws. Um, Young people don't know anything, for the most part. They just don't know anything. And for the most part, they also typically tend to lean far to the quote unquote left. So, I don't care what any of these young people are out here marching on behalf of, because I know that they don't know shit. Because they're out here marching for stricter gun regulations and stuff like that. And that's not gonna help them. It's not gonna help them. You know? We have to face the facts. The facts are, quote unquote, bad people are always going to have. Once you can fucking digest that pill, then you'll understand what the hell we're talking about. If you can't accept that, then come back to this channel, in like a year or two, or however long it takes you to finally realize that everything that glitz isn't gold, and you know shit happens, and life isn't perfect. You can't write life out on a piece of paper, and that's it. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That dies, you know, you think everyone that dies was ready for it? No, the motherfuckers had plans later that day. They had plans for next week. You know what I'm saying? They had plans. But you know what? unfortunately, they died, and now their family and loved ones had to make plans to bury them. So you can't think that you could just, life is supposed to operate so idealistically, where it's like, oh yeah, well, it's a utopia. There's no guns. Give her the guns, and there's no violence. That's ridiculous. As long as you have human violence, there's always going to be quote unquote bad people. You can't stop it. You cannot stop it. What you can do is prepare yourself for it. Accept the fact that there's bad people and there's always going to be bad people. When you do that, then you can accept. You can set yourself up to not wind up being a victim. But if you never accept that, if you want to keep living in this fantasy world, it's like kumbaya, my lord. Then you know what? Hey, you're gonna be staring down the barrel of something, and thinking to yourself, "Damn, I fucked up." And that's just what it is, man. We could dance around it all we want to, but it's always gonna come back to that. How do we stop it? The answer is you're not gonna stop bad guys from having guns. So you know what we should do? Give the good guys more guns and surround the most vulnerable with the most guns. Very simple logic. Very simple logic. Very simple line of thinking. I think if people broke it down to a more personal level, then they could easily see it. I could see it on this grander level, but I guess down all the way down production that it can go, which is personalizing in your house. What's important to you? Where do you have the stuff that's important to you in your house? Do you have the stuff that's most important to you in your house on the fucking front porch where anyone can just walk up and take it? No. Let me ask you another question. Do you have locks on your fucking doors? I'm sure the answer is yes. You do have locks on your doors. Let me ask you, why do you have locks on your fucking doors? Because you're protecting stuff, right? Because you understand that if you didn't have locks on your doors, somebody, you don't know who, but somebody could just come in your shit and do what. So you put locks on your fucking doors, right? Because you know that there are bad people out there. So if you know there are bad people out there, guns that they're gonna get guns, why the fuck do you think you should take away guns from everybody else? Up until the murder of George Floyd, there was schools. I don't understand why that would change it though. I don't understand why that would change it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know what that has any significance to the point at hand, Ron. But
no,
thank you
he
for
was that's
tonight.
that's in
You
reference to
definitely
what I was talking about the 3 years they struck down that rule that they had where they had armed police officers.
no, I get that, but I don't. He's saying up until the murder. I'm like, I don't know why bringing in that.
That was 3
Um,
years ago.
you know,
He's
because
saying
George.
that
Yeah, but
in
George. Oh,
Catholic.
okay, well, because yeah, but that in particular because that's a very specific one. Um, you know. Okay, but anywho, that's neither here nor there. Ron, thank you so much for being able to definitely enlighten this conversation. We definitely enjoy your talking points as well. It definitely allowed for us to make this a very nuanced conversation. And it's not an easy conversation to have. And I think that this is why I, for one, enjoyed this podcast because it allows for us to get to the nitty gritty of these things. I mean, Justin said it earlier, these uncomfortable truths, while yes, it is very hard to swallow these pills, at first glance, you do feel a sense of relief knowing that you're getting to the crux of these conversations. So I think if more people sat back and instead of, getting triggered just simply based on, uh, you know, uh, these pop, these sort of trigger happy words that we sometimes speak, and they sort of tick it. No, no, no. Hey, Ron. Again, this is about this conversation goes back into the gun laws, right? It goes back into the accountability of that individual, right? So yes, it was a different instance that we spoke about in this conversation, but it definitely does round back into film when we're talking about on this podcast about how it's not just the guns, right? We have to talk about the individuals and the people that have these guns, right? Because these bad people, as my co-host mentioned, are the ones that are getting access and have these weapons. So how are we going to combat these individuals? And I'm sorry, we cannot just be asking people to sit around and say, "Don't shoot me," and make that the defense. There has to be something that's in place to at least create some sort of protection for these protectionless individuals. So this was a great conversation, Ron. Thank you so much for chiming in. I definitely look forward to seeing you on some of our next episodes. I do remember you commenting on something we spoke about some in some episodes prior. So I thank you again for your support. You're always known to come in here with some good fire, man. So it's always good to
Yeah,
chop it up with you. I feel like
I appreciate it.
talking to a family
And
member or something like that.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And to answer your question though, Ron, um, we already spoke about the transgender shooter in Nashville. Um, uh, you might have got in on the podcast after, or like at the end of us like talking about that. So once we wrap up this live, you can go and check it out. We opened the show with that. So yeah, we already touched on that. So again, you didn't really veer the topic off course. You actually what you did was great.
Yeah, you expanded the
We
conversation.
had already
For sure.
spoke about, yeah, exactly. You expanded it. Because again, we didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
We did not. I did not know. Did you know about that?
No, I did not. Again, snowmobiling in Colorado.
My man. You know what? And on that note, Ron, you know what? It's been a great time. This is one of one of the best shows we've had. I think because we were able to have that difficult conversation, and we got interaction with Ron and Justin, and we were actually able to build something, and not just anything, but actually something that people could take away. Whether you agree or disagree with where we stand, I'm sure all can agree that we need to reach a solution. And on that note, like, share, subscribe. I'm out.
Shadow on the track. Let's get it. I'm a rock star type nigga, fucks bad bitch.